that you're out of here by 4:30. My name is Deneen Diamond. I'm the lead for the Center of Excellence for Health. We are super excited to be here today with our very special guest, Ray Humble, who is going to be speaking to us about the MBCC School of Health and Wellness and all the beautiful programs they have at MBCC. I also have my beautiful new intern, Center of Excellence for Health, Emily Mason, who's joining us. And I'll just take a quick minute to introduce Ray. Ray Humble is the academic dean for the School of Health and Wellness at MBCC. He has been a respiratory therapist for 35 years, a clinical teacher in 3 provinces over a span of 25 years, served as the president of the Canadian Society of Respiratory Therapists, and acted as the accreditor for several healthcare disciplines. Ray is a beautiful partner with the Center of Excellence for Health, as MBCC is for all of the centers, and Ray and I work very closely on providing experiential learning opportunities for students across the province in health and social care. So without further ado, I'll hand it over to Ray.
Thank you, Deneen. Been a long time since someone's referred to me as beautiful. So thanks for that lovely introduction, and thanks for the opportunity to come speak with the group today. I just want to walk you through a little bit of our programming in School of Health and Wellness. So NBCC, the school that I oversee, is the School of Health and Wellness across 6 provinces. We do international work as well, internationally educated nursing, and I'll talk to you about a new initiative that we're looking at in the Philippines as well. So lots of little tidbits of information here. Really, what we're all about is not only empowering our students, but empowering communities. And we do that in a whole variety of ways, a whole variety of learners, and both urban and rural campuses. So the Woodstocks, St. Andrews, Miramichi, as well as our 3 main cities, we have programming in all those areas. So I'm just going to walk you through a few of our different programs, and this is just a super high level. I'm not going to walk you through the exact profile, but these are all high school entry. You'll see underneath each one of them different profiles. They're detailed on our website if you're pointing some of your students that way. But one of the first grouping, and these are grouping, I'll put them into allied health and nursing and support programs. So the first one is medical laboratory assistant. This is a 1-year program. We have 20 seats out of our St. John campus. And these are folks that work in the lab, do a bunch of technical skills, and they coexist in a lot of the same classes in the first year with the MedLab technologists. MedLab technology program is a 2.5-year program. We have 21 seats in our program. And we also run a joint degree program. So we have dedicated seats to University of New Brunswick Fredericton campus for the Bachelor of Medical Laboratory Sciences. So already you'll see that there's a linkage between community college and university. In fact, a lot of the profiles of our students are not just high school, but a full degree completion or partial degree completion. So community college is not just for trades. We have over 90 programs across 6 schools, plus a whole series of contract training programs. So it is really the place to go, and one of the largest economic drivers of the economy in the province of New Brunswick that's associated with education. Also in allied health, we have pharmacy assistant and pharmacy technician. The pharmacy assistant is a 1-year program, and you'll see it's offered at 2 different campuses. And that's more of the retail front. Most of you have probably met a pharmacy assistant at some time. When you go to pay for your drugs, they do a lot of order entry. They do a lot of stock management, but they still have to learn a lot of the procedures and the language of the pharmacy. And then our pharmacy technician program is a 2-year program, again offered at 2 campuses, and that's a licensed healthcare professional in the province of New Brunswick. And we have 30 seats, 10 in pharmacy assistant, 30 in pharmacy technician, and they're in great demand. All of these have math backgrounds. All of them have either biology and or chemistry, and really essential for all of these because of the type of work and kind of the fidelity in it. Just this year, in September of 2023, we launched an opticianry program. So these are folks who dispense eyeglasses, and that's in our Moncton campus. And in fact, we'll be expanding this program for contact lens fitting as well. Right now, the opticianry program is a 2-year program. We're just finishing up year 1. It's going well. And year 2 will be administered next year, but we'll be building a postgraduate program, again, licensed healthcare provider in the province of New Brunswick. These folks do an 8-hour written and practical exam for entry into the profession. So this is fairly high fidelity learning that they do. We have robust labs. They've already been out in the community doing clinical practicums. They've started with fittings and adjustments. And these are the folks who dispense your eyeglasses. These are the folks who assist you when you go to the Costco counter for your contact lenses and things like that. So again, you'll see a lot of math, chemistry. These folks do a lot of physics. They do a lot of light physics as well. Also in the allied health, my background, respiratory therapy. So respiratory therapy program, it's a 3-year program. There is a conjoint Bachelor of Health Science with the University of New Brunswick, St. John, and it's what we call a 1-3-1. So 1 year at UNB, 3 years with us, and then a lot of folks go and they can finish their degree part-time, as well as respiratory therapists who come through our program can also complete their degree, and they're given credit towards it from our program. So this is a 3-year program, and these folks, they operate life support systems. They help deliver newborns, neonates. They're in the trauma room. They're in the ER. I've spent time in the back of an ambulance. I've spent time in a fixed wing aircraft for several hours, just myself, a nurse, and a very sick trauma victim. Again, community college grads. I'm a community college grad. I went to university. I couldn't get a job, so I went to community college, and I had a very fulfilling career as a respiratory therapist and as a professor of respiratory therapy as well. On the nursing side, we call it nursing and support. The first one is personal support worker. So personal support workers are certified as part of the apprenticeship and occupational certification here in the province of New Brunswick. This is a 1-year course that we run at all 6 campuses. And these folks will work both in the hospital in support roles, as well as in long-term care. And long-term care is one of the greatest needs, and I'll talk about sort of an innovative approach that we're taking towards recruitment and actually delivery in this program in a couple slides. But it is one that we're finding it difficult for domestic students to be attracted to. It's challenging work. The pay scale is not as robust as some of our other programs, but there is a great need, and there's pathways. There's pathways from personal support worker. I'll talk about practical nurse next, to practical nurse, and then from practical nurse into the Bachelor of Nursing, which is really fulfilling and part of the lifelong learning that we really try to build and promote in our programming. The practical nurse program, you'll see, is run at all 6 campuses, a 2-year, very demanding program. These are licensed healthcare providers in all provinces across Canada. They have mobility right across Canada, as do the other healthcare professions that are licensed as part of what's called the Mutual Recognition Agreement and the Agreement on Internal Trade and Tariff. Practical nurse, these folks deliver medication, they insert IVs, they work in acute care, they work in long-term care. A lot of you might have encountered them in the emergency room if you've been in for a visit for yourself or for one of your kids. They're frontline healthcare providers, and they take a very important role in the healthcare system. And just go back for a second, across our system in the personal support worker program, we have about 100 seats, first-year seats, for a September intake. And for the practical nurses, we have 168 seats. there are waiting lists for the practical nurse. It's a very popular program. From practical nurse, there's a couple of articulations, both in St. John and in Fredericton. There's an articulation to the Bachelor of Nursing. And in fact, there are dedicated seats for these pathways in both campuses. They have to do a couple bridge courses that we've worked with on our partner, but they do have dedicated seats. And our students do very well because they graduate from us. Most of them go and start working as a practical nurse, so they have clinical experience. They get a lot of labs and clinicals within our program and then practical work. By the time they go into the third year of the Bachelor Nurse program, most of them, if not all of them, will have more actual clinical experience and hold a valid license for healthcare in the province of New Brunswick, and they're very successful. We also have an articulation with St. Thomas University for a Bachelor of Applied Arts in Gerontology. So for those practical nurse graduates who are looking to go into long-term care and are seeking management positions, they can walk into year 3. So it's a full block transfer, what we call a 2+2. So a couple different things that are happening. Our school runs something called the NB CRIB. CRIB is Canadian Reentry Internationally Educated Nursing Bridge Program. So these are referrals that the Department of Health is out in the world, literally, trying to recruit nurses to come to New Brunswick. And when they come to New Brunswick and they're applying to be a nurse, they go through a referral pathway to the regulatory body, the New Brunswick Association of Nurses. And that regulatory body then refers them to us on a prescribed pathway. And most people don't realize that about the community college, that yes, we do train registered nurses and we do verifications of their training. And it can be anything from 4 courses at a minimum up to 14 months of training in a series of quite intense clinical practicums and practical evaluations. What's really nice is that we do asynchronous delivery while these folks are waiting on immigration pathways. And our program's been growing at about 10% per year, and we'll process about 120 referrals this year. So that's 120 new nurses for the province of New Brunswick. Also, I just got back about 3 weeks from the Philippines, and we have identified a partner in the Philippines, and we're actually going to hopefully start delivering our personal support worker program in Manila, targeting September 25. We have a lot of work to do, but their education system aligns very, very nicely with ours. And there's a lot of interest in individuals from the Philippines wanting to come to us. But the nice thing that we're trying to do is actually run our program in the Philippines and contribute to their economy. And it's recognized by their own folks. Philippines is the 3rd largest economy for remittance back home. So about 20% of their economy is actually sending workers offshore and remitting back to their country. So there has been some sensitivities about the brain drain in the Philippines, as well as the economic drain, particularly for training and international student fees. So we're trying to work really closely with not only our partner, but the Philippine government in taking an ethical and responsible approach towards that. We also run some programs for post-secondary education training and labor. There's a program called Step Up to Nursing, which is essentially working part-time and going to school part-time. And it's a trial program. It starts from personal support worker and goes right through to Bachelor of Nursing. And we're just in the first iteration of that, and we're about to take in our second cohort. We're having a lot of really good uptake with it and a lot of really good success. We'll also be introducing some new programming. There's an Introduction to Health Science program coming in September 25, and that is essentially for our students, your students who are interested in the health sciences, but they're not quite sure what to do. So it's going to have a little bit of pharmacy tech. It's going to have a little bit of nursing. It's going to have a little bit of respiratory therapy, and it's going to have a little bit of the medical laboratory sciences. And those individuals will be qualified to work in long-term care. What it will do is it will assist students who might be on our wait list. We're popular, so we do have a lot of wait lists, but it will also give them credit once they get into their program of choice to help lighten up, particularly their first or second term, and give them an opportunity to work part-time to make a little bit of money itself. So lots of really exciting things. Deneen, I think I did that all in pretty quick timing.
Yes, you did.
And that, again, broad brush overview. I'm just going to stop sharing, and I'd really welcome questions and dialogue, because I got to tell you, community college is amazing. University is amazing. I'm a university grad myself. I went to graduate school. Community college has given me everything I have, quite honestly. And as I said, it is a massive economic driver in our province.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Ray. That was lovely. And it's so exciting to hear about the new programs that are coming, but also the programs that are doing so well here in our province. And I know there's quite a few of the teachers that are on right now that are teaching healthcare 11.0 and teaching some science classes. So I am going to open up the floor to specific questions, maybe something that you'd like Ray to review that maybe he went through quite quickly. But certainly if you want to put your hand up, that would be great. And you're more than welcome to place any questions in the chat as well. Aaron, go ahead.
Mr. Abbott.
Oh, there we go. Ray, can you hear me, Ray?
I can hear you, Aaron. Nice to hear from you, sir.
Yeah, good to hear from you, Ray. It's been a long time.
It has. So full disclosure, Aaron was a former student of mine.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, that wasn't yesterday, let me tell you.
A few years ago. You're right.
Yeah. Ray, I just got a question. Thank you very much for the presentation this
My
afternoon.
pleasure.
I actually had a former student that's currently in that step up to nursing program.
Mhm.
Is it my understanding, Ray, that the bridge, they go part-time for what part of 1 year for the bridge, and then they go back full-time for 2 years to finish the BN program to become a registered nurse? Is that how that works, Ray?
It's actually part-time the whole time, Aaron. So it's a reduced schedule, because it's a tripartite. So post-secondary education, training, and labor are funding it. And then it's a partnership with Horizon and the educational partner. And we also have a long-term care partner. So it's truly, go to school part-time and work part-time, because the employers are releasing these individuals. Almost all of them come from the health authority or from long-term care, from Loch Lomond Villa or Shannons. So yeah, it extends the time, Aaron, but the really nice thing is that they do get paid the entire time. They get paid to go to school, and they get paid while they're at work. So it is an innovative approach. It's actually based upon a European model. And we've seen that particularly in the aircraft maintenance area. We were approached by a trainer several years ago, and we're working on something in that area. But that's a common model that they used in the UK.
Okay, Ray, thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Just one other question, Ray, before
Sure.
I hand it over to the rest is, Ray, do you find there's a trend with certain programs, like I'm thinking health sciences, where more of the influx of students are coming in through the university side as opposed to the high school side? Could you just speak to that, Ray? That's just my other question for this afternoon.
Yeah, so we're actually seeing a bit of a mix. And so there's a couple reasons for that. Domestic supply is becoming flat in all jurisdictions in Canada. It's an issue in EECD. It's an issue at universities. It's an issue at community colleges in every single jurisdiction, right? So therefore, that's why the international student population becomes important for all pathways. not only for education, but for workforce in general. Just Canadians aren't making babies. That's just the reality. As far as, where students are going, there's a ton of choices. You can, if you're a high school student, you can literally do an online programmer analyst program or certificate and be making a whole whack of money several months after you finish high school. In fact, you can do it while you're in high school. And if you're really good, they just look at performance in a lot of those sectors. I just say that, my son's IT programmer analyst, he did go to university, but he's like, there's kids that work in his place that literally are just a couple months out of or high school, and they're
Wow.
making $80,000-$90,000 a year. So that's just one example. And so there is a lot of competition in the space, and there's seats available as well. Like, I just presented a couple programs. We have 90 funded programs. If you want to be the next millionaire in our province, take carpentry, become an electrician. I know Denine's husband's an electrician. Like, I guarantee he could work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Like, he's probably pushing people away because they want him 7 days a week, and that's a very common story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just don't
Perfect.
let him work that much.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you, Ray.
Thanks, Aaron. There's a
Thank you.
question in the chat there, Ray. It said, you said there is a waiting list for practical nurses. Are there any campuses that do not have a waiting list? Someone told me perhaps St. Andrews.
No, all 6 campuses do have a waiting list for September. We also have a January intake. We have January intake in Woodstock, in St. Andrews, and in the Miramichi. So St. Andrews has a slightly higher probability of getting in, but overall, as of this morning, across all 6 campuses, 492 people on the wait list. Now, recognize they can apply to more than one program. So they might be on the wait list, but also be waitlisted for a second program as well. So our wait lists tend to move fairly robustly as well.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep, good
Any
question.
other questions from anybody that's on? I did put the post-activity assessment survey in there for you to fill out, just to give Ray and myself some feedback regarding the presentation. If you can take some time to do that. If anybody doesn't have any other questions, I am going to just lean on Selena. Selena, I'd just like you to share the experience during medical lab week that you had with your students on Friday at the Allied Health Center.
All right. So Friday, myself and 2 other classes, so it was AP biology students and my human anatomy 12-0 students went to MBCC to participate in the medical tech lab week. It was small group students, but these were high academic, high achieving students that are pretty keen, and a lot of them were in grade 12. They were blown away with MBCC. Something that I kind of noticed and found was a lot of these high achieving students, they already applied for university and they've been enrolled in university, and a lot of them are saying like, wow, I didn't know that these courses were at MBCC. And it's kind of like what Ray said, community college fulfilled everything that he needed. And I think a lot of students aren't aware of that, and they need to be aware of that, especially with our high academic students, because MBCC has so much to offer with the courses that are available there and what they can do with those courses. So that's kind of what I took from it from a teacher, is that we need to kind of broaden our spectrum with these students in these AP courses and stuff, and what's to offer at MBCC for career wise. Students were, like I said, they're so engaged. They don't know what's out there. So medical tech, they're like, okay, yeah, work in the hospital in a lab somewhere, but kind of what the instructors told us is there's so much available that we are even aware with the different fields that you can go into with med tech, and that's probably with a lot of the courses that are offered at MBCC. Is just there's so many different fields that you can work in. So with a nurse, you're just not in the hospital. You can be in a community, you can be in a doctor's office and all that. And I don't think our students are aware of all those fields and opportunities.
Yeah. Awesome.
Selena, what was your impression of the facility? Did you know that building existed and kind of the quality of the surroundings?
I took nursing at UMB.
Okay.
So I was aware of the building. I was never in it, but I've walked by it many times, and I had classmates that did the bridge program through MBCC, and they loved the bridge program. They said they got so much more experience, and when they were in the classroom with the students that were just strictly UMB going through the Bachelor of Nursing, they brought so much more to the conversation and through group work because the students that did the bridge program had so much more experience, and they were currently working in the field of nursing, and they could just add
Great feedback.
to the
Love it.
conversation. Yeah.
Love it. Thank you for that.
We couldn't have asked for a better spokesperson, Selena. Thank you. I put you right on the spot, but I really
There you go.
I really appreciate just hearing about your experience. And I know Aaron, who's on the call too, his kids have been to the Allied Health Center as well. And for teachers that are listening that have not had that experience, please feel free to reach out to me and try and make some connections so we can make some of these experiential learning opportunities a part of your students' reality, because that's really how students learn and understand the different fields that are out there. And that's really the beauty. And what we're trying to do as partners is just expose students to the opportunities that are here in our province. And obviously, with the main goal for them to stay here and work here and help our health and social care system. So it is 4:28. If you do have a couple minutes just to fill out that post survey, we would really appreciate it. I want to say thank you so much to Ray, and thank you so much for taking time out of your busy days. I know it's a very long day to be here until 4:30 on the computer, so we appreciate it. And certainly feel free to reach out if you wanted more information. This will be posted on the speaking series. So Ray's presentation will be there if you ever want to go back and revisit some of the programs that he spoke about today. And I know that if you did want to get a hold of Ray, he certainly would be open to that. So just reach out to me.
For sure. Yeah, it was
Ray, any last words?
Thanks for the opportunity. Feel free to reach out, and thank you for giving up some of your value time. And if you do want to come visit, for certain, Deneen is the conduit, and we will do our absolute best to get you into our building, talk to our students, talk to our staff, and see, touch, feel what we do. It's pretty cool. It's very cool. It's awesome, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. Without further ado, have a beautiful day. Try and get outside and enjoy the beautiful sunshine. And thanks so much.
See you, folks. Bye-bye.